I'm here to show you some magic. When you find the right place in your solution to optimize, you can speed it up by hundreds or thousands of percent. It sounds magical, but the thing that makes it so magical is that we are only people and we do a lot of mistakes. And it's natural that when we create our solutions, we do many things not the right way. We do many things the way that it's becomes slow at some point, and finding these things to optimize is the best way to get to the right speed. So if you want to hear the whole story, you can just check this URL. There is a video where I tell the whole story, how I went to the optimizations. And now let me show you the actual work. It's unconference, so expect a lot of work and nothing more here. So the first thing that I published was actually from our own solution. We had a script that was supposed to check the inventory in our company. We record moving goods in and out of the stock, like transaction records, and need a way how to produce a report that shows our inventory for specific date and time. Like if someone asks me what was the inventory on the 1st of January, I have to go to the solution, enter the 1st of January and generate the report. The problem is that when you have just transactions recorded, and sometimes it also happens that you forget to record some transaction and have to add the transaction later, so you cannot rely on things like the creation order of the records. There must be some way how to find out, like for if you sell MacBooks, how to find out that the actual number of MacBooks on stock on 1st of January was this number. And as the data, as the number of records grows, it's becoming even more complicated. And if you sell like thousands of goods, then it's a lot of data. So the basic thing that we started with was this structure where we have transactions, and based on the product number, the ID of the physical stock, and the timestamp, we can get all transactions that are before the timestamp we set for the report. So let's say if I'm talking about the MacBook, I need to get all transactions for MacBook before January 1st so that I can summarize them and get to the right number. And as you can imagine, this is a lot of work to do. The summary is going to take a lot of time to calculate. And what we were doing in the first version of our script was search for was finding records in the transaction table using an unstored calculation field. It's here. There is a calculation here, which actually checks whether the current record is the last record in the relationship. And I'm not going to try this script here because we don't have time for that. I tried that last night. This is the button that runs the old script. On my old MacBook it took 5 hours to run. I tried it last night and got to this result, which shows that this script was taking 2 hours and 34 minutes to run, to generate the report. As you can see here, we are working with 58,000 transaction records. So let me first show you what the new script does. It returns exactly the same results, but much faster. It's running now. and it's done. So getting the exact same results from the exact same data. And now we got to a little bit over 8 seconds. Isn't it marvelous? So the key is really about doing things the stupid way. I'm not afraid saying that. The first script we created was really stupid by using the unstored calculation for searching. But what seems really magical is that the way we do it now is here looping through all the records that are fitting in the time range specified by the report requirements. We're looping through over 20,000 records, and it's done within a few seconds. So if you can see here again in the analysis, this is where the loop starts, and looping through about 20,000 records takes just about 5 seconds in FileMaker Pro. This is something that surprised me a lot, because I thought that FileMaker was getting faster with new versions, but didn't think that looping through 20,000 records would be so fast in 11, but it is. So one thing to remember from this experience is that never make assumptions without verifying them, because even scripts can be much faster than anything else when you do the right thing, and when you don't spend time doing things like committing records, etc. So what we did, just in more detail here, is that we base the information we look for in the record on the fact that and on every day in the past there had to be some stock status, some stock values. So we calculate the stock, the number of items on stock every month, the first day in the month, and store and for each transaction that is last transaction for that time period, we simply flag this transaction by storing the date into the record. Every month on the first day we find the last transaction for each individual good, and store the current date into this field. So let's say that I'm talking about MacBook. I found that this is the last transaction for MacBook before 1st of October. So I store the 1st of October date to this field, and then when I am looking for like quantities on stock on 10th of October, the only thing I do is I find all the records that have the 1st of October date in this field, then extend the found set by all transactions between 1st of October and 10th of October, and then loop through this found set. So I not only have to loop through small found set, I search for data only in indexed fields, and finally when I am looping through these records, I simply omit all records that are not the last transaction. So at the end, for each good I have one transaction record which is the last one, and that I can use as a base for the report. So this is what we did for the stock inventory report, and as you can see on this MacBook Pro, we're talking about cutting the time from 2 hours and 33 minutes 10 seconds to a little bit over 8 seconds. Let's just do the count. So
nothing like precision.
So it's 1156 times faster. So that's the first one. Any questions for the first one? Okay.
Have you tried this over a network from a client to a
Yes. Well, over the network, the speed up was quite a little bit higher because because the search in the unstored calculation had to be performed on the client. So when we did that over network, all the 50,000 records had to be transferred to the client for performing find. So it was actually even better result of the optimization over network.
It's not so much that the new version was faster; it's that the old version was slower.
Yes, right. As I said, all the marvelous optimizations are only about that we are always doing some things bad, and we can make them better.
But everybody just writes stuff to the first version that works, don't they? How many people revisit?
Yes.
I mean, proactively revisit stuff in this room.
Yes,
You're writing
exactly.
that works. What do you do next?
Wait till
Make
the
it
customer
quicker.
complains.
Or wait till yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What I like to say is that there is always more than two ways of doing the same thing, and we usually choose the first one that comes to the first solution that comes to our minds, and the best way to have faster solutions at the first try is to always consider multiple solutions and think about how fast they can be and choose the better one.